Let's go to the defensive backs. Again, Georgia content here provided by Palmer Toms on Dogs 247 Sports. So head on over there for the best in Bulldog football coverage. And of course, here at Mark Rogers TV, the voice of college football. Yeah, DBs is obviously, we talked about it before we started to record and you started to run down the names. And it always brings to mind when these guys were 4- and 5-star recruits and really being sought after and were big signees. Tyson Campbell comes to the forefront of my mind as being that guy that everybody was searching for across the SEC and the big programs across the country. Now he's moving along with most of your top cornerbacks, and Tyrique Stevenson headed down to Miami.
Yeah, like you said, it's going to be a lot of new faces on the field for Georgia in the secondary. Tyson Campbell at cornerback, Eric Stokes is gone as well, DJ Daniel, and like you said, Tyrique Stevenson, who played more of a specialty role there as the star and nickelback. But he's gone as well, transferred out to Miami. He started the bowl game at corner, opposite of Campbell, while Stokes and Daniel sat out. And I think Georgia was going to be counting on Tyrique Stevenson to play a bigger role, maybe as a traditional cornerback this year. Well, they got to find someone else. Looking at the other guys that are gone, Mark Webb, he's another guy that he was a senior this past year, split time with Stevenson as the star and as an extra defensive back. He was a key player for this Georgia team. He's gone, as well as Richard LeCount on the back end. Georgia got a taste of what life was like without Richard after he suffered an off-field injury, was involved in a motorcycle accident probably midway through the year. It was after the Kentucky game on October 31st. So he missed the final 5 games of the season for Georgia. Looking at who's going to be replacing those guys, I'll start on the back end with Lewis Seen and Chris Smith there. Those two guys, really got a lot of time together in the secondary. After LeCount was injured, Seen, really took on a big role. He finished as the team's second leading tackler. Chris Smith stepped up and filled the position. I think back to the Auburn game, second game of the year, when LeCount got ejected for targeting in the first half. Georgia was counting on Chris Smith to come in and be a key contributor there. He filled in there. He's done a really great job throughout his Georgia career of filling in spots and was called upon late in that season to be a starter and be a leader on this defense and did so, phenomenally. I think looking at the cornerback positions, that's where a lot of the concern for Georgia would be. Keely Ringo is a name that I would watch there. He was the number 1 cornerback in the country. His year was a true freshman this past year, but missed the entire season after he suffered a torn labrum during preseason camp. He'll be probably taking on one of the major roles for Georgia at corner. Jalen Kimber is another guy. He was a freshman this past year. Amir Speed could take on a bigger role. I think Latavius Brinney, he's a guy that played in the bowl game as well as the Missouri game, at that star position. When Stevenson shifted over to corner, Latavius Brinney came on and played star and did so pretty well. He would be a guy that I would pencil in as a replacement at star. But I think, cornerback and secondary in general is probably an area where Georgia is looking at the transfer portal. I think, Kirby Smart indicated to us the other day that he is, he's not against the transfer portal, but he wants to use, to develop the guys on his team, the guys that he recruited out of high school. He's not afraid to use the transfer portal when he needs to. Georgia picked up 3 transfers this past season, had 2 the year before, and so they've used it in the secondary before too. They got Maurice Smith from Alabama in Smart's first season. They've used it in the secondary before, but I think they're gonna try and develop some of these younger guys at corner. Not to mention the fact that they've got 4 signees in that role in Javon Bullard, David Daniel, Nyland Green, and Kamari Lassiter.
Yeah, Nyland Green in particular, a top 4 cornerback in the country out of the Peach State. And of course, Georgia loaded in high school talent, and most of those guys at the top of the board going to the Bulldogs.